Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I am recording this video to show the dispositions of being a teacher. And I think that some of the dispositions that I can hold as a teacher would be the fairness and the compassion and curiosity and honesty needed for the children. As a teacher, you always want to make sure that you're looking out for the needs of the kids that you are teaching, not just in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And as a first year teacher, I think that one of the biggest things that you would need to do entering the education system is just to make sure that you are ready, because once those kids enter your classroom, they're your responsibility. And so the honesty part coming in on that would be, you want to be honest with the children, with everything, as honest as you can be. And the compassion, if you come into a school and you're compassionate about your job and what you're teaching and how you're teaching the kids, then the kids are going to come in and they're going to be compassionate about going to school and staying in school, and they're going to want to come in and learn. And I think that's the biggest part about education these days is, kids, they don't really want to stay in school. They find school boring and stuff like that. So I think, a part of that is the teachers is you want to come in compassionate about your job, compassionate about what you're teaching. You want to practically be like a second family to those kids, pretty much, because if they see that you love your job, you love what you're doing, you're compassionate, and they can see that they can count on you, they're going to want to, come back into school, stay in school. You're going to be that one teacher that's always going to be there for the kids, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, no matter the problem, like anything. I do think that some of the qualities that should be guided as a professional educator, to be displayed outward, would be, the calmness. You want to be very calm, very easygoing with the children. You don't want to just pop off. Like, kids they can be a little frustrating and they're going to be hyper, but they're kids. And you have to be calm. You have to be open-minded about a lot of things, because the world is growing, the education system is growing. And so what you learn and what you teach them, because they're not just learning from us, we're also learning from them. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about being a teacher is the education goes both ways. And kids, when they go to school, the first thing they're saying is, oh, I love my teacher, or oh, I don't really like this teacher, and so it makes them dread everything. You want to be that educator that's going to be there, be compassionate with them, be honest with them, be fair. And that's another big thing, is you never want to show or even have favorites, because if you show that you have favorites one over the other, that can cause a lot of problems, that you don't want to have to sit there and deal with. So I do think that there are a lot of dispositions, a lot of personalities and professionalism that go into being an educator. And I think that that's very hard to find in a lot of teachers these days, because not everybody gets that. Not everybody understands that when you walk into a classroom, you walk into a school, we're the main people that kids look up to, and so in order to be a role model, you have to act as a role model. You can't be unprofessional, you can't be any of that. And it doesn't matter, whether you're in the school, you're out of the school, because if you live in the same city, or the same city as your kids that you're teaching, and they see how you are, like they walk up on you and you're acting like a whole different way outside of work, not only does that have an effect on that kid that you're teaching, but it also has an effect on your career too, because you're also sitting there and you're supporting a school. You're supporting a whole bunch of people. You know, you're supporting your coworkers, the teachers, the other teachers, the principal, the entire school district. And so I think how you really carry yourself would be very professional and on being an educator.